Oh man, good morning, and we live in it. It's King Jab, the voice of the people, and I got a very special guest in here today. I got Mr. Dan Soronen, because I want to put an S on in and all that on your name so bad, but I got Mr. Dan Soronen in here, and he's running for District 7 City Council seat, and we go dig into that. So if you are a District 7 voter like I am, you should be interested in this conversation because I'm excited about the things that have been started up for District 7 and whatever your plans are for District 7. So as y'all know, we gonna get right into it, man. We gonna do some quick sports. Dan, you kind of like a guest co-host here today, so feel free to add, take away, whatever you feel. You know what I mean? My first story is very, 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 very intriguing to me because now they're saying Ryan Garcia did not actually test positive for a banned substance. And this is crazy because I think the biggest play from this was the sports betting world was like, hey, no, man, we want our money back, and it didn't work out that way. Your headphones working?
Yeah.
And so on Wednesday, it was reported that Garcia had been cleared of a potential positive drug test for the 19. Okay, hold on. Let me get my pronunciation right. It's called Noransterostone metabolite, which derived from the banned substance nandrolene. I don't even know why I did this to myself. But Garcia initially tested positive for the metabolite, but the results were unconfirmed. Pending further analysis, the reverts have been confirmed to be negative. However, Garcia tested positive banned substance ostarine in a sample collected on April 19th and 20th, the day before and the day of his recent win of Devin Haney. Garcia's team contests that the findings by requesting a testing sample of the B sample, which the results are still pending. The expected they expect to have the results on the 22nd of May. Okay, I get I actually with this, I kind of understand why Floyd Mayweather was asking for Olympic style testing far as his fights, because I think maybe something was in the system and he was flushing it out like a dirty piss test. You know what I mean? Like, man, you got a lot of water in your urine right now, bro. But the whole fact, I think Garcia's a clown. I think he's been in the game too long to really just blatantly just, take away from the integrity of the fighting game and of boxing. I don't think he would throw his career down the drain as of such. Like, you don't want that on your name. So I don't know. I'm sitting back. I'm waiting to see what happened with this situation with these banned substances.
I mean, when it comes down to it, the big fight that's coming up is the Tyson and Jake Paul. So, I mean, this one's in the past.
Yeah, man,
I'm more eager to see what they test positive for.
So
the amount of weed that Tyson smokes.
Well, that's that's a gimme. That's not performance enhancing. So
for some of us, it is.
Well, yes, I have to agree. But I think I at one point, right, when he beat who's the basketball dude name? The short guy.
The one that became the meme?
Yeah, man. When he knocked the Sonic ring coins out of him, I was like, man, listen, I want to fight this dude. I can do it with that amount of money. But watching his progress, I don't think I want to fight Jake no more.
Yeah, he's gotten a little tough.
Yeah, Jake a little tough. He
It's still Mike Tyson though.
Man, I don't care who. It's Mike Tyson over anybody.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm from Albany, New York. Like, we grew up with Tyson. That guy was a beast. He still is a beast.
Yeah, he's actually definitely my top 3 fighters. But I don't know, man. When I do my, like, I took Garcia's.
Yeah.
As far as sports betting, when he came in 3 pounds over, I was like, that's a lot of weight, and he finna on more weight before the fight.
Right.
That was enough to sway my bet, but I don't think I'll be taking that risk on Jake Paul. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a tough one. Do Mike got it in him?
Of course he does. It's Mike Tyson. I think he just wants to shut the guy up anyway.
For the name of boxing?
He'll turn it into a street fight and just beat him, kick him, do whatever he's got to do.
Hey, if Mike bite him.
Hey. He's not gonna let himself be embarrassed. I know that.
Hey, okay, so are you a Knicks fan?
I grew up as a Knicks fan. I've kind of stepped away from basketball.
Yeah,
I was a big Knicks. I'm from upstate New York. So
yes,
the Knicks, the Giants, and the Mets were my teams growing
up. The Knicks fans have siphoned a lot of the Yankee fans' energy.
Yeah,
or these guys are, man. Listen, I just pray that I want the Knicks to win it all, so they can just go ahead and celebrate the way they want to celebrate.
Yeah,
I think a couple of them might set themselves on fire like they protested. Like I just want them, like, for real, because, man, I'm not even mad. They celebrating their accomplishments. You know what I mean? I'm not even mad, man. But the Knicks fans is, I think, to a level of obnoxiousness, I'm going to put them right here with San Francisco 49ers fans. And that's not good at all.
Really?
That's
San Francisco. You think, like, the worst to me is Philadelphia. There's some Neanderthals in that city, but
Philly fans, yes.
Philly fans are tough. New York, yes. I still have some love for the New York fans. They'll definitely heckle you, though.
Yes, they will.
And if you mouth off, they'll still wait for you in the parking lot.
Yeah, and they want to fight. Now, that's true. Now, New York, L.A., and Philly, they want to fight. Like, hey, man, if you want to do it, we'll do it out here in the parking lot.
Drop the gloves.
Yeah, I've been watching this to see. I'm really waiting on football. I'm a lot invested in high school sports, so I'm really waiting to see what these high schools go do and go back into the NFL. I got a lot of players from our Lakewood team that are playing in college, so I get excited to watch them play.
We had a few NFL draft picks this year.
Yeah, definitely. One of them was from Lakewood. One of them, TJ Tampa. You did it. That's his grandson.
Yeah.
Ray Tampa grandson. He played at Lakewood. Our great parents. Great family structure. And I spoke on this on the radio. TJ was one of those kids that he was a wide receiver. So he had to receive taking on being a cornerback. And he did great. Like I think he was better than a lot of people that went before him. And being that he didn't perform in the combine kind of hurt his draft stock.
Yeah.
But TJ got a lot of more people coming out next year. I think the two exciting that I want to see is Anthony Calandria at Virginia, quarterback, and Amari Niblack just transferred from Alabama and went to Texas. So he's playing with Arch Manning. So those.
See, you're able to pull all these names out, but part of what we'll get to know each other. I have a 2.5-year-old and a 1-year-old. Okay. So my time watching sports was kind of pushed to the side for cartoons. So if we get into like Madagascar or Mario Brothers or something like that, I could probably
pushed to the side. So,
like, I'm not as in tune with college sports right now.
Hey, man, we finna jump off of sports. Sports was just a tease. I usually don't even be here that long.
I still try to keep up with the boxing. My brother's a big boxing fan, but it's tough, man. And like I've concentrated more even on just the local sports, even at the kids level, just because I know that coming up, if I am elected, there's a lot of stuff that I can contribute. So
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It's. I don't. When it comes to our kids, I mean, I love sports, but I like to focus on all areas. And even like my co-host who's not here, Dream, I realize all our kids not athletes.
Mhm.
So I go from the sports to the academics, and man, I really just love our kids. It's really
Yeah,
part of what I do.
it's giving them opportunities to have positive things to do,
Mhm.
and the mentors and the structure of teamwork and a lot of that stuff.
And what I'm really finna get into with our kids is a space for content creation.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm working on. So it's 9:15. I'm not going to do a break. We finna go ahead and get into this interview, man. Let's talk about some business. I got with me Mr. Dan Soronen, District 7. I don't know what to call you, representative, runner,
I'm a candidate.
candidate.
I'm a
Okay, yeah,
candidate.
man.
There's two other candidates.
Who is that?
We have
For
Donald.
entertainment purposes.
See, you're a football fan. Donald Bowens Jr. was a football guy here. I think he went to NC State. And the
Who
other
is
guy,
he again? Okay,
exactly,
go ahead.
exactly. And
I
then
want him to come up here.
the other, I'll get you in touch with him.
Yeah,
Nice
please.
guy. I think I have a lot more. I'm more in tune with what's going on with the city than he is. And then the other candidate is Wayne Gay Newton, who he was he was involved 20 years ago, and
All right, let's do this, Dan. Before we go into this interview, right?
Mhm.
One of my standing statements, which piss a lot of people off, is in the last 10 fiscal years, I've seen nothing pertinent come from City Hall for our black community. Just I really put it on all of our
Mhm.
black leadership.
Yep,
And
gatekeepers.
leadership in period. Just it's nothing pertinent came down the line for. So when we talk about those guys, the amount of time you've been in position and the years you've been in the political realm, actually that right now in the city of St. Pete, for me, that's a strike against you.
Mhm.
Because you haven't done nothing in position. So I want to get all of the District 7 candidates on here because of course that's where I'm going to vote at.
Mhm.
And I want to really, really see what you got planned. So my first question to you before we go to talking about gas plant and all that.
Before we even get into that, let's talk about that. The language that's going on while the rest of the city thrived.
Okay.
Downtown went vertical.
Straight. Ooh, that's one of my words. Go ahead.
Our commercial corridors have sat and languished.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a combination. So a lot of what I do in the real world is I'm a commercial realtor.
Okay.
And I help business owners open their businesses. I believe in owning your future, entrepreneurship. So a lot of what I do is the paperwork, the permit applications and the license applications to help these places get open. And I've lived on the South Side since 2008, 2007, 2008.
Okay.
I've opened businesses over here, and I know it's much more difficult on this side than it is on the north side.
Okay, what businesses, please?
The first one on the south side was Shackleton's over in Coquina Key Shopping Center. That was back in 2008 till about 2012.
Okay.
A lot of people know the location because it became Cabana Sands.
Okay. I used to do security there.
And that's a tough security job when they had it.
I was one of the OGs with Jonathan.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Then after that, I did Brew Burgers over on 34th Street, right out front here, between the IHOP and the Subway. I've helped a lot of other businesses open. Most recently, I was involved with the Urban Collective over at the Manhattan Casino.
If y'all would have hired me as y'all food and beverage manager, would still be. Go ahead. Go ahead. Proceed.
And then now everybody knows the Catalyst.
Okay.
Jeff Copeland, Jason Bryant, and myself opened the Catalyst. Our 1 year anniversary is coming up very shortly.
Two good partners.
Yep.
I was my first time meeting you, but I'm not the one to go out a lot, but I can say from just a real perspective, when I do step out, man, those two guys make sure me and my wife good. Like So yeah, two good partners.
Yep. So and above that, like I said, I've helped a lot of other spaces open, and I'm currently helping them open. But what we've run into now is when you put an application into the city right now, they've created a bunch of affidavits, a lot of extra steps to get open. And part of what I want to do is I want a 28-day permit, no matter where you are in the city. If you put an application, you should get your approval or denial within 28 days.
That sound right.
Right now, we've got permitting issues that are going 9 and 12 months before people get a permit. Most recently, now, and when you watch, a lot of times it's on our south side corridors where the application just gets put to the bottom of the pile because you take 16th Street. We had an application go in for a bar lounge. It's been an event space. Everybody knows it as one. It's been that way for years and the use for it. So now you have a change of use without construction. You would think that would be 30 minutes conversation over the counter and you're out the door. Very vague application form. You need an architect. You have to supply as is drawings. And then when it goes into the city, this particular application, the fire marshal didn't even open it for 55 days. So now you're 3 months into your lease and you haven't even gotten to the first step of saying I can open the doors. So a lot of that, and it's unnecessary.
And they're catering to the big developers because the guy building this cruise ship in the middle of downtown not having these problems.
No, they have armies of architects and attorneys, and the city just bends over for it. And at this point, like if we can't get an application through in South St. Petersburg before we redevelop 86 acres in the stadium, when that process starts, what chance do we have of getting anything through? And that's what I'm afraid of, is that if we don't expedite the process and make it available, what's the use of the grants if you're not even going to get your doors open? What's the use of even making an attempt at it? You're not getting a fair shot. And it's been going on for a long time. And that's why, like I said, everybody else went vertical and we've been sitting here waiting. Now that we're out of land. So where are they going to go? They're going to come south.
They got to come south.
And the rules are going to change. And it's not right. So the next conversations that'll come up over these, hopefully I'll be on council for the next 8 years. It's going to be vertical growth along our commercial corridors. How high do we want to go? How far do we want to push these residents back into their neighborhoods before they're finally pushed out? So a lot of that.
I never looked at that, and I love that angle. That's why that was the look.
Well, yeah. I mean, for 20 years, we know that we had a fire chief that is a bigot. Well, the hardest part of getting a permit is going through the fire marshal. And if his policies are bigoted policies, and he says no, South St. Pete's at the bottom. All right, we got rid of Chief Large, but we didn't correct the problem. His people are still in the same position. Operating the way that he told them to for the last 20 years. We need to revamp that whole department.
Yeah, I can dig it. I had my own issue with the fire department when it came to Lakewood High School gym, and I had we reported some issues of the AC and mold, and I'm looking at it like, bro, you signed off on this. Like, you signed off on this? It's no AC in here? Like, so yeah. I get exactly what you're saying about the fire department.
A lot of it, like if it takes you 55 days to open an application without construction, then it's one of three things. You're incompetent, you're understaffed, or you're intentional. And I think a lot of it has been intentional for a long time.
And incompetent. Because nobody wants to operate in 2024. We still want to operate from a civil rights standpoint. We don't even operate post-COVID. It's like we just, I get it. It's incompetent and we just don't want to do it. It's intentional.
So the other issues that I've seen about the languishing on our commercial corridors is that the fastest way to revitalize any commercial district is to allow restaurants, bars, and lounges.
Absolutely.
That's the fastest revitalization.
We are the worst food city I've been in a man. I go to Atlanta just to eat.
Yeah.
Because I just want to go good places and eat food, and we're
So
we're in a bad position.
So there's a reason that we can't get those in South St. Petersburg. And what it is the zoning restriction is that you can't be within 400 feet of a church. Now,
For a restaurant?
For consumption on premise, yes. Now, restaurants, they've started allowing them about 2 or 3 years ago. They changed it to if you sign the affidavit and agree to do 51% food, then they'll allow you alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the holdup for the longest time. So you can't do a regular bar lounge. You can't open up a billiard or a nightclub. You can only open that little mom and pop restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And the zoning restrictions, a lot of our buildings don't fit or qualify because they're older buildings, smaller buildings.
Yeah.
They don't have the seating requirements to get to that alcohol. Even if you look at what we did at the Catalyst, like they changed the laws in July of last year. We pretty much waited till the last minute before we opened because the law changed July 1st, which we met the square footage to even sell alcohol over there. Otherwise, that corridor wouldn't be starting to kick off the way it is.
Yeah.
Right on the deuces, you know?
Wow.
And that's, people don't realize that. And I challenge the other candidates to have any clue that that's even going on.
So, wow. All right, let's pivot. I like that. What District 7, because I want to go into some other stuff, so I want to get this out the way.
Mm-hmm.
What are your plans for District 7? Like, why should we vote for you?
Like I said, the 28-day permits, getting businesses open, entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I've been helping people in South St. Petersburg own their future for a long time. I'm afraid with the CRA funds, it's the community redevelopment money. We have money allocated that's for District 7. Right now, there's a lot of hoops that you have to jump through to get those grants. I want to loosen a lot of that up. I wanted to make it more accessible. And I want to make it more accessible to youth sports programs. I want to make it summer job programs for the kids. I want to make it more accessible to homeowners. That I don't want to see people lose their homes because there's a lien, because now, code enforcement came through and said, you got to fix that roof.
And the CRA funds can absolutely be used for that.
Yes. Let's use those. Let's use that money to help our next generation.
Mm-hmm.
And let's use that money to secure our homes. To make sure, I don't care if it's 0% interest loans that have to go out. If you need your roof done and you live in the CRA, you should be able to get your roof done.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a roof over your head. Home is probably the most powerful. What did they say? It's the most powerful word in the English language.
Yeah.
Was that Shakespeare?
I don't know.
I remember hearing that. I'm not gonna.
Don't make me quote nobody, please.
Somebody out there like Dan's a liar. He said this, but but yeah. So youth sports. I think that, like, I watch. I've helped a lot with the kids over at Bartlett Park. I helped raise a lot of money for the Gators, St. Pete Gators, Anthony Hart, and Marion Harrington, and Puff. I watch families over there that if you got 3 or 4 kids and those kids want to play sports, you're talking about $200 entry fee.
About $900 to get them.
And that's before you bought the cleats that they grew out of in 6 weeks.
Absolutely.
And the uniforms and the helmets. And that's just, Saturdays. What happens during the week when they get out of school? Like, how do we not, like, they've argued about this Tangerine Plaza and they let all that square footage sit vacant when we could have had a run and shoot all along. Can you imagine just being able to have the kids have their own place where they can go and play basketball? I don't care if it's 24 hours a day.
I was looking at doing something like that in the Skyway Plaza where I'm at. It's so many activities that our kids should have that they don't.
Yeah, but we have $287 million of city money that we're going to give to the richest people in the city for one baseball field that none of us will ever get to play on. But we can't provide sports for the kids here, and then you wonder why they get into trouble because they're breaking into cars and a 14-year-old gets his gun, and that stuff shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
we should have them. There should be so much for them to do. We live in paradise.
Yeah,
people from all over the world come here, and then our kids that are sitting here, they're not going to the beach. They're not at the pool.
They don't realize that we're in paradise. One of the most popular artists in the world is Rod Wave.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of his music comes from pain. and us as adults don't realize this the pain of our children that's making millions that millions are listening to and are they're vibing with the pain of our kids right here in
Yeah,
St. Pete. Yeah,
they relate to it,
yeah.
and here we are. We're out of touch with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the sports is a big thing. We grow up in New York. We played sports year round.
Yeah.
I remember shoveling off the snow off the basketball courts in the middle of the
And
winter.
ooh.
And it's just down here we have all these places, and it's like at dusk they shut down the parks. They turn off the
Yeah.
water at their homes. Like they do all these things, and it's like I just don't see why. I feel like if you want the next generation to flourish, then we got to give them enough to occupy them now.
Yeah, we
And,
got
and we
to.
have the money sitting there.
Yeah, yeah. Just have to allocate it, and nobody takes the time. I think when
That's
it
part
comes
of
to
why I'm running is because I got a 2.5-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I know that I want to keep them away from any
all of
type
that,
of street.
yeah. But and I think when it comes to our kid, we our approach is we reactive. We ain't proactive. We reactive. Oh, this just happened. Oh, let's do a program. Not my child. No, we should be providing resources to these kids. So when this happens, like, okay, so why did this happen, and why wasn't this resource provided?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I get it. What about the 49th Street, business corridor? I know Brother John's been working on that. Is that something that you'll be continuing, or is that something that
He's going to continue it. Brother John thinks he's getting off the hook when he steps out of this seat, but Brother John is part of. It's like that's just in his blood.
you ain't got to tell
not.
me?
It's not like he's going to leave this seat and go away. So he and I have become friends. I look forward to if I get on the city council working with him. I am involved with a lot of those things already.
Mm-hmm.
I live right off of 49. So I live. I mean, we got Sonic over there now. We got China Boy Hibachi just opened up. We
Mm-hmm.
got Ish opened up the Sazerac just down the street from there. And then you have a corridor of a lot of up and coming businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I was just over at Baja the other day with Rob, and he's doing really well over there. There's a lot of good businesses that are along that corridor.
Shout out to Rob Bajas, man. That's our pregame meal guy. Always on time. He feed our boys, so we support him because he support us. Definitely.
So yeah, I think that right now, Brother John has done. He's got the ball rolling on 49th. I know Nancy and them like they're not going to let him off the hook. He's going to continue on with that, and he started to move across the 18th Avenue South corridor now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to see it go up 16th Street South also. Just kind of horseshoe the whole thing in. The Deuces is fixing itself on its own now.
Yeah.
The Brave Boys have a lot of good ideas. They own decent properties over there where they'll be able to build along there. I know that the Sankofa project is kind of going sideways. I have heard the Manhattan Casino will be opened as a city property at some point in the next year or two. So those corridors are coming along. That Fusion project is a great example of basically two communities working together to thrive.
Mm-hmm.
When the money comes together and they do change that corridor and change the parking, those businesses will do a lot better and make it more pedestrian friendly. 16th Street, when you stand on 16th Street, it's the same thing. They put that island down the middle, take the island out, make it one way, one the other, and allow parking up and down that street. And then those businesses can thrive.
Absolutely.
Because the hardest thing is getting into those spaces. They've got those weird parking lots and everything. So I'd like to see that change. I'd love to see it changed on the Deuces, but a lot of the buildings on the Deuces are too close to the street. To open the corridor up much more than we can. I'm eager to see what we do. I mean, they've promised us the new Woodson Museum in this new plan. I've questioned how it's going to be paid for. I don't see anything in the contract that guarantees how it'll be built, but I'd also like to see what we're going to do with the Woodson that's currently there, because that really opens up some opportunities right around Jordan Park.
That I'm kind of Yeah, I'm kind of up in the middle about that. I understand that they may want to grow or become bigger, but I still contend that that's probably the most beautiful place in South St. Petersburg is the garden right there behind the car.
Yep.
Like if you haven't been in that garden, you're missing a part of this city. So
Yep.
I don't know, like, well, yeah,
And there's
yeah.
opportunities to get into that garden coming up. I know that Terry Lipsy Scott always does something around that Juneteenth
Mm-hmm.
time. We have stuff going on at the Catalyst at that time. So I mean, there's opportunities to get back and walk through there. And she's usually there's people there. They'll take tours through there.
Yeah,
It's a great spot to go take
yeah,
pictures,
yeah. That's what I said.
wedding shots and stuff like
If
that.
you haven't done a photo shoot in there, I don't understand why. And I it's this is a lot of my frustrations with our leadership, even with the Sankofa play. For my co-host that's not here, brother Donnie, to tell me that his wife did the study on the ground and the city already know that the soil wasn't right.
We all know.
Why would we agree? Oh, give us the land where the soil is not right. We could have did better than that. That's like, and that just goes back to part of my frustration.
And they took it away. That's what you forget. Like
they give
the
it,
black
and they take
community
it away.
already had it. They took it away, and then they packaged
here,
it
we'll
up
give it back.
20 years later, and they figure it out. Like, all right.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is true.
And it's when we had a proposal that we were getting ready to present to the city to put a hotel there. We wanted to put an A-loft hotel going up because now like I said, they're going up 7 and 8 stories there, and the contamination wouldn't have affected a hotel because you're pouring asphalt over the
then you do
parking
a
lot
parking
to get
garage
in.
underneath and go up.
Yeah. So the contamination isn't an issue. Like, there's going to be a lot of contamination issues coming up because the reason there's so much asphalt around the stadium is obviously the gas plant wasn't clean.
Yeah, that's true.
All they did was pour asphalt over it.
And that was like my home before I left St. Petersburg and moved to Compton, California. I think it was around 86, 87. We lived in Laurel Park. That was the projects that I would say I was affiliated with. Now it's a parking lot. Mm-hmm. And the whole gas plant situation means a lot to me. Let's pivot on into that because I know you got a lot of things to say about that. And at this point, I just feel like our leaders are operating out their feelings. They're operating in their feelings right now. And the reason that they're in their feelings is because you got people like me, you got people like Jabbar. Like before anybody was hollering about this deal, Jabbar was screaming about it on the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
I brought him in here and interviewed him on my show about what he was screaming about. And then it was really like a big snowball effect because people didn't know.
Yeah.
Like people were not paying attention to it.
Well, they're hitting you with all these trigger words and they're telling you out.
Gas plant is a trigger word.
Yeah. 1,200 affordable homes. Well, the other plan had 2,291 affordable homes on property that would be built way sooner. They say 1,200 affordable homes, but there's really only 600, and 300 of them have to be built by I think 2030, or they pay $7.5 million and don't build any of them.
So you say you read the whole new deal? I
read the whole contract, the one that's being presented to City Council right now.
The one that's going to be presented right now.
It's being presented right now down the street. You guys can all go down and listen to it firsthand. I'm sure the city's broadcasting
live on TV right now.
Is it?
Yeah, it's probably live on TV. And this is the one this is before the NAACP supported. Anyway, what you think about this new deal?
I mean, if I was on City Council now, I would reject it immediately. There's a lot of promises. A lot of the people that were pushed out of the gas plant live in my district now. Mm-hmm. And so I hear all the stories. They were given a promise and it wasn't kept. This has no promises that they're going to keep either, because the way that it's written is so vague. It gives the Heinz Group so many outs that I just don't trust them. They've had redevelopment rights since they got in there and never even put in so much as a turnstile. So why would I think that now they're going to go build all this stuff?
They're going, yeah.
There's only 2 buildings that they've named. Well, they haven't named the stadium yet. I don't know that they've given a name to the stadium, but we know that the stadium, we know the day that it's going to open, and we know how that it's going to be paid for.
Okay.
The only other building that they've named and given any identity to is the Woodson. But they have no explanation of how it's going to be paid for, and they have no explanation of when it's going to open. And these are the questions that I would ask on city council. So you only have 2 buildings that you committed to. One is to tell everybody that you have the Woodson coming on here, and we're going to give them $10 million. But this is a $30 or $40 million, maybe even $50 million building. So where is the rest of the funds coming from? Now the Heinz Group has to commit in writing to give the $10 million by July of 2025. So the deal will already have been passed, even though there's no explanation of who's paying for it. The deal is so vague that we don't even know who's going to own the building. So does the city own it? Does the Heinz Group own it?
The first screen
is the museum independent. How are they going to pay off that debt load? If they don't pay on the debt, does the museum get taken back? Does it become Heinz property again? And now it's just
all get screwed.
And now it's the Stu Sternberg Museum.
So my first screaming point was, we went and did the research. The Heinz Group did the Florida Marlins part, and though that economy is reeling right now from the deal that they did with Heinz. Right now, they're in big trouble.
They had a mayor that didn't listen to. They didn't go to referendum. They finally recalled the vote and threw him out of office about 3 weeks after the whole thing went through, and then they voted out everybody that went for the state. And history is going to repeat itself here because they're not listening to the community. They had a CBAC, the Community Benefits Advisory Committee, and basically that was all for show because none of it was included in the contract. And I really, like on the NAACP part, I know a lot of them were in that room, and I think that I really hope that they only committed to this project because they thought that was included. I don't know that they've read what's being presented, but it's not. Everything that they discussed was not included.
Well, when I spoke on it, I asked why, and my question still is why. I'm gonna reach out and see if I can get somebody to come on here and explain to me why. That's just like, why would you support? That's all I want to know is why would you support that particular deal? Along with this Rays deal,
and let me get it totally clear. I would love to have a new stadium. I just don't think we should pay for it when they got a beautiful stadium. I was at a game a couple nights ago. It's a great spot to watch a game still.
So along with what's going on, me and my think tank presented to city council. This was sent to everybody's email to consider building at Derby Lane. And the problem, me being a native St. Petersburg, people from Tampa and Clearwater are not coming to St. Petersburg, not coming to South St. Petersburg. Whatever the stigma is, they're not coming. You'll get Manatee County, Braden, they'll come. They don't care. They'll come shop, support businesses or whatever. But typically Tampa and Clearwater don't come to St. Pete to support our businesses. Going to Derby Lane, you got 2 airports, 2 interstates. You got an opportunity to have a poker room inside the stadium, and you have an opportunity to have a corporate sponsor, which is Amazon, which would just make completely more sense if the basis of this deal is to get more people in the stadium, right? That's how they say we're going to win, even though we're not getting any more. We're not even in on the ticket sales anymore.
Oh, we've been cut out of everything.
Yeah. So, what do you think about that?
50 cents before. You couldn't give it. You couldn't leave at least the 50 cents. They took every dime and nickel off the table.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I feel like
if I presented that contract to any business owner, they would laugh at me for presenting it. It's so one-sided.
I mean, they're laughing right now.
Yeah, they are. They're
Because I'm watching
like
it. Hey,
their
their PR is amazing. The guy they had come on here, I should have came in because wow, he actually when I did hit him with a tough question, I think Jabata let him off the hook and he didn't answer. When I hit him with a good one, he got off the hook. The PR is amazing and they're spending the money like
these are guys that negotiate on a world-class level all the time,
mm-hmm.
negotiating with our mayor.
So why we can't play a consultant group to come and negotiate for us?
We brought in attorneys a month after the deal was already announced by the mayor at the city. Was it 2023 January State of the City that he announced it?
What's stopping us from a hard stop and bringing in someone to negotiate right now?
We need city council to just vote this current deal needs to be voted down.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the scary part about it. I don't think they care about. I don't think they really care about the vote. I don't.
They're putting it to a vote now because they know they've got the votes.
Yeah, exactly.
You have 3 former mayors that are telling you this is bad. Don't do it. And then you've got Mr. I don't know.
Hey,
Ken
man.
Welch that just he has a plan. He has an agenda, and South St. Pete is not included in that plan.
I voted for Mr. Welch. I would like to speak to him because my concern with him right now, beyond everything that's going on with this raise deal, is I really want to know why black women is bailing from your cabinet.
Yeah,
I like the black women that was in position. Like, nah, I don't want to do this.
The equity director didn't even make it 3 weeks.
This is important because I want to know what's going on, bro. I want to know why. I want to know why. Mm-hmm. So that's the only question I got from him.
And he's not going to answer that. There's no way he'll answer it.
Well,
just like he can't answer who's going to pay for the Woodson Museum. I'm going to be on city council a year from now, and they're going to put another $30 million request in for that museum. Like, why not just include it now?
I told y'all so.
Yeah, I told you. And I'm going to look like the bad guy saying that. But I think there's going to be a lot of buyer's remorse in the next 3 to 5 years. And the community on South Side St. Petersburg is going to be saying, hey, this isn't what you said.
Yeah.
But they didn't read the contract.
My biggest thing about this situation is for one, St. Pete has no industry. I sat in an Alice presentation at the foundation, and they told us 68% of our residents travel 30 minutes or more to work. That tells me they're not working in St. Pete. Right. They're going to work, then they got to come back home.
We rezoned a lot of the property in the warehouse district, which is where we actually produced things and had $30, $40 an hour jobs in production. Those are all art galleries and like live workspaces.
I seen it. It's the art district.
So you've taken all the industry out of
and craft brew houses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And how many of those do we need?
And we have no industry. And the most concerning, this is what I would say to city council. We businessmen, and me doing business with you, the first thing I'm going to look at is your business model. Okay, what kind of models are you using? The raised business model is we have the lowest payroll in the MLB. This our business model. We don't want to pay nobody, but we want to capitalize off of everything.
Yeah.
And we're happy with going almost to the pennant every year, or just getting to the race, the playoffs, because it brings us more capital. But when it comes to any of our players that's eventually making us all the money, asking for more money, we already got a replacement and already got somewhere to ship them.
Yep. Yeah. Well, look at the way that you take the way that the Rays negotiate their contracts with their players.
Mm-hmm.
They give them the very minimum
That's
up
how they're
front.
negotiating with us right now.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
The business model.
So if you're there, the way they negotiate, they pay the lowest dollar amount down.
Mm-hmm.
They commit you to as long as they can because they can sell the contract later.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is on performance. And then you look at the deal that we have with the Rays, and we're giving them everything up front. If they don't perform 10, 15, 20 years down the road, there's a very minimal penalty.
Yes. I'm
So we've done the exact opposite with them. We should have given them here the other plan that Sugar Hill proposed was to redevelop the area around it and just leave them, I think it was 17 acres. Build your own stadium if you want it. That's a good plan.
Yeah,
Make them put up the money. And that way, the $130 million that we have to pay for infrastructure, that's fine. I can stomach that. The other part is that now, if we had gone with that other plan, you had 2,291 affordable homes. 50% of the units were affordable. The part that we're missing right now is that we could make attainable home ownership. We have one shot at it because we own the land and we're already going to borrow the money.
Mm-hmm.
So those 600 units, make the Rays perform. Tell them, all right, we're going to give you $240 million. That's $400,000 per unit, and we're going to give you the land. They should be able to build those units at $200,000, $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
If they produce and get those built, then they get the $240 million. So now they've actually produced the 600 up front before the stadium, before anything. They got their money. They just had to work for it.
And that's I want one of them for 400.
Yeah, and they should go out. They should go out to our city employees and our first responders, and that's who should get them, and not on credit score, but on the fact that you serve your community. And when you do that at a $400,000 zero interest loan, you're talking about $835 to $1,100 a month for a 3-2. That's attainable and affordable in our core.
That's the only way we're going to be able to live here.
Yeah.
It ain't attainable. That's the only way we will, the citizens of St. Pete, that's the only way we will be able to live here and own something. Yeah, that's.
And we're about to hand it away. And we're going back to a feudal system. In the contract, it says the two people, I don't remember it's a male and a female from the Hines family. They're going to be the ones that own everything. Basically the lords of the manor. And the rest of us, we're going to struggle to basically work, hopefully scrape a living out in their rent and live
in their kingdom.
Yeah.
Because city council and the mayor will no longer, it don't even matter who's the mayor or city council once y'all do this deal. It don't matter who even hold them seats. We at the mercy of the Rays.
Yep. The keys to the kingdom. And we didn't elect Stu Sternberg. We elected a mayor and a city council to represent us. And right now, it seems like the Rays are representing us. And they're not doing well by what my standard would be.
Yeah, I don't think they held no value in our votes anymore. It's no value. I've worked in that field. I've done campaigns. The value that you hold prior to the actual bubble being filled and afterward is completely it's completely different.
Why do we think that at the end of 2027 the world is going to end? They keep telling us the world is going to end if we don't have a new stadium by 2028. That's not true. That's just when their lease ends. Their power of negotiation ends in 2027. So now they're scaring everybody. We're going to leave. We're going to leave.
In 2027, they'll be talking about going back to Toronto and splitting the season, which they threw up 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, they've floated leaving since 2007, 2006.
See y'all later.
Yeah, leave.
Yeah, like I'd rather you holding me hostage.
When you take that threat off the table and let this leash run its course, the redevelopment is going to happen, whether it's now or whether it's 10 years from now. You look at their plan; they're not going to redevelop anything for 7 or 8 years. So why are we in such a hurry for them? There's no reason to commit to this. Let them become tenants at will, and they can stay in a month to month out of the current stadium until we figure it out.
And as a community, like we actually need the time to regroup ourselves, because you look at this building right here behind us. When you leave here or when you go out the parking lot, look at the tags. The tags is Manatee, Hillsboro. My questioning was, how many black people working on these construction sites? Then I went deeper. I'm like, oh, stop. How many people from St. Pete is working on these construction sites? So if we don't regroup and prepare our children to rebuild our city, we definitely not going to be able to afford to work here.
Yep.
Because live here, because they're going to come build it up to the sky and they're going to leave. I went by the construction site downtown and I seen 95% Spanish males going to their scat packs and big trucks lifted and headed home when their shift was over with.
And they're headed to Pasco and they're headed to Riverview. They don't live here.
They're going home.
They're taking their paycheck and going to another community.
And we sitting here with we have an attack on our school system, and I guess that's a whole nother story. But we have a construction program right here in St. Petersburg High School, general contracting. I have a child that just went through this 4 years. This man can't frame this door right here. It's a problem with that. This is a problem because these are the kids that they should be prepared to take the general contract and license right then at 18.
Yep.
Like, what are we doing here? And he was in this class all 4 years of St. Pete.
Yep.
I think they made a box. The whole time, a box.
They made a box.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. So we need to regroup. We need general contractors. We need electricians. In the deal, we need contracts. I'm talking about the contracts. Like, first of all, like, give us the recycling contract. Let's just go right there. When y'all pull all the wire and rubble, like, yeah, we want to.
How much is that current stadium worth just in the metal that's in it alone? The rebar. The amount of.
We ain't even thinking around. Our brain ain't even wrapping around that. And right now, my brain is wrapping around. We need future contracts, not just rebuilding. Like, we need a pest control contract.
I mean, if we hadn't sold out our warehouse district, we could be in there. How many light switches are we going to have to purchase? Are they going to have to purchase? That's the simplest thing. Let's just
manufacturing.
If we just made light switches right now,
wow,
you'd make millions of dollars in the next 10, 15 years on light switches.
Yeah. So
it can't be that complicated to make it. I've never done it before, but I mean, I feel like a couple of smart guys in the room, we could figure it out.
I've learned with our young kids, those the ones that even all that smart don't even have the book smart. What we have to do is go back to how we used to do with our granddaddy. Because in the summer, we went to stay with our grandparents and we went to the auto body shop with granddaddy all summer.
And learn the truth.
Now, I don't know how to read a book. I don't know nothing about it, but I'm the baddest dude in the city when it comes to body work. And man, it's
these kids today have a different skill set than we have because of technology.
Absolutely.
My 2.5-year-old son flips through my phone and knows all the apps, knows how to play all the games. He's 2.5.
And I hit the voice recorder and say, Ryan, because I can't spell it.
Yeah. So, and you're telling, like, somehow they'll get locked out of the opportunities that are going to come down. That's the proud. That's one of the fears. It's definitely one of my fears.
All right, man. We got 3 minutes. It was a good show. I'm glad you came. I appreciate you not disappointing me, because all I want to hear when people come here is some meat. Don't like, and that goes for anybody that I would ask to come here. Like, just come here and give us some meat, give us some real.
I have a platform. I wasn't planning on running for office. I've been serving my community from a distance for 10 or 15 years now. And now it just came to a spot where I felt like I understand these things and I have to step in because of my kids. And that's why I'm running. And the name is pronounced Soronen.
Soronen.
Dan Soronen.
Dan Soronen.
Just
I'm
remember
gonna
that
work on that.
when you go check that box. Just remember.
I just remember the ROSORE.
SORONEN.
See, I done started all wrong anyway. Hey, any last words, man? Anything you want to say before we lose our listeners' ear?
We got a lot of things coming up at the Deuces. We've got our 1 year coming up, and June 28th through 30th, we're doing a big party. Memorial Day, we have a big party going on. Mother's Day this weekend, we're doing a brunch, DJs, the whole thing. So definitely get down to the Deuces, to the Catalyst.
All right. Dan, my only thing I was really concerned with you was you in this position to take this serious? Was you taking this seriously? And you proved that to me. Thank you for coming on my platform. You're welcome here anytime.
You let me know, and
I'm an open invitation. That goes for everybody. I would like to see the other candidates from District 7 because, like I said, I am a District 7 voter, and I would like for you to come here and speak on what you got for us because I'm going to stand in the position of educating the voters.
Mm-hmm.
That's this man right here tell you this is when I say I'm going to do that. I'm the voice of the people, and I'm going to educate the voters, and it's going to be from the city council all the way down to the amendments. We're going all the way to judges and everything.
Don't get your news off of Facebook. Dig deeper. Please dig deeper.
So, this is King Jab, the voice of the people. And my special guest today, Dan Soronen. I get it right that time?
Close enough, man. As long as they vote in the right box, that's good.
Hey, man, vote in the right box, man. I thank you for y'all ear. It's King Jab, the voice of the people, next Thursday, 9 a.m., y'all.
JM, St. Petersburg, 9 Jams. WUJM, St. Petersburg, 9 Jams.
Gospel lovers, are you ready for some church? The Angels Gospel Show is back with a bang. Bringing to you gospel with live interviews, scriptures, inspirational topics, inspirational events, and hot gospel music of all types. Coming to you live from the studio of 99.1 every Sunday from 12 to 2 p.m. Listen also live on TuneIn Radio app and at reggaespain.net. The Angels Gospel Show, 2 hours of the Angel and you. You can't afford to miss it. I am your host, Angel. 99 Jams, the ball.
Total Praise. That's right. Total Praise broadcasting live each and every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. until 12 noon. Fridays, 9 to 10:30 a.m. Sundays, 7. Your radio gospel angel.
Hi, this is Sister Hughes of Total Praise on WUJM, giving you the best gospel. I make you lose your shoes, shout all around in the house.
That's right, your host, Sister Diane Hughes, right here on 99 Jams, your radio gospel angel here on 99 Jams.
The Bird.
If it ain't one thing, it's another. That's right. If it ain't one thing, it's another. Broadcasting live here on 99 Jams, WUJM, each and every Thursday morning between 10 a.m. and 12 in the p.m. with your host, Brother West. That's right. We talk about the topic that no one else wants to. We talk about politics.